Hi, I'm B. Welcome to my channel. There are millions of YouTube channels that create content, and you landed on mine. I hope you'll stick around, hear what I have to say on this topic, and share your thoughts as well in the comment section. And as always, please be respectful to the people I'm speaking on. Thank you. The Truth Never Dies, Episode 1, Part 4. We're still in the interview room with the officer and Jessica on body cam. The two are trying to decide if Reese is on drugs or alcohol, and they drop this topic quickly. The officer asks Jessica what her thoughts are on if she wants him to be charged or if she's just looking for space so that she can get away. She states that she wants it documented. This takes me back again to the image she had on screen prior and a tidbit that she let slip on the Dopey podcast she had gotten from JD, that she needs to document abuse to use in a custody hearing. This is concerning as a domestic violence victim. So many use DV as a means to secure custody of the children or unequal property distributions. My first thought was to keep us safe, and I was not thinking of a custody hearing at the time. So now at this point, we have the interviewing officer telling Jessica about the Illinois being a two-party state. This means that when you record or video someone, you need their permission, or they need to know that they're being recorded, or in a public place you wouldn't expect privacy. The audio she just shared appears to be a secret recording of Reese that he isn't aware of. The officer is trying to find a way around the eavesdropping law and to be able to charge Reese with a crime without using her recordings. This officer is telling Jessica that if this recording had come from the ring cam in the living room, it could be used because Reese is aware of the camera, and all his expectations of privacy would have been gone because he had prior knowledge of that camera. He goes through several ways that she can get around the recording law, which is a Class 4 felony. He believes he can get around it if she was in imminent harm, but this isn't ideal. He informs her having the recording is the best way to get an arrest and a conviction, though. It's not a he said, she said. Now, but back to the recording, if you truly listen to that recording, I suggest you put earbuds in. I used my AirPods and listened very carefully. And that recording's not all it's cracked up to be. There's stuff in there that leaves you to question what is really happening in that recording. But anyway, he says that he says that she needs space and to get herself together. She says, I bought a house and he just keeps coming by the hotel, even getting the adjoining room at times. So, as I stated in my last part, I'm sorry, but did everyone else get that Jessica's toying with Reese by coming and going with him, leaving the girls at the hotel with a sitter while having dinner, drinking, crawling into the bed that they previously shared in only her underwear? These are things that she has told us herself. That is confusing. Maybe she was confused on if she really wanted to get back with Reese or to leave Reese. But it's still confusing. Maybe she was setting him up. Who knows the reasoning behind it, but it happened. And now she wants to act like she left and he just keeps stalking her. The officer says Reese can exhibit possessive behaviors and she can get an emergency order and possibly a longer one with showing his behaviors haven't stopped and aren't going to go away on their own. He's absolutely missing her admission of the back and forth of this toxicity. He is pushing for her to get a protective order and goes through the different ways an order can work for her. She doesn't want him around the kids within 30 days of being sober, a treatment program, and employed. Mind you, she says all this without a medical assessment, just on her say-so alone. The officer defaults to the Illinois is a mother state, and that since they were not married, he is not the legal father until the court declares it. Reese will need to prove he's the dad first, and then he can get visitation. It needs to be formally established in a court. If he's not healthy, he doesn't need to be around the kids and can be damaging to them. Jessica states that she's had her daughter go through the foster care system and fought to get her back and had to attend parenting classes, do hair follicle testing, and such. I hope that Jessica knows that this is admirable, but that this happens every day and the clean parent can relapse and have to do it all over again. She tells this story often, but it seems to me that she thinks that going through the hard stuff once is a blanket get out of jail card to having issues of it being a sober and clean parent with no need to do it again. Jessica then asks again for a report and wants to move forward with the protective order. He then tells her how to fill out the paperwork. She then says he's logging into her account and has a recovery code going to him. Now, we don't know the business agreement at this point, and she has always said that he took care of the finances and such. So maybe this is Reese being a pain in the ass, and maybe this is status quo for them. Since she's made this so messy, it's hard to put all of this on him. The officer asks if something happened recently or last night, and then she states that it started to add more info to bolster the need for an emergency order. Hacking into her accounts and friends saying that he's gone by the hotel and brought back her Jeep. The officer then tells her that she needs this report and come back and document any instances to take to the custody court. And he doesn't want this to be the first time the judge hears about DV at the hearing, so having the reports will bolster her claims. She doesn't want to be a victim, so he gives her the label survivor. This man has dropped gaslighting, narcissist, and many times throughout this, and he really had no business giving these labels to someone he admits he has never known, other than Jessica's words. The abuser makes people think it's their fault, he says. I take issue with some of the things. This officer has given some really great information, but if she is not truly the victim, he's given her a lot of ammunition to use against her victim, if that's the case. She tries to explain her actions over the last year about blowing up on Reese and taking his keys many times. The officer tells Jessica he believes her story and wants her to know that if Reese had said no, she flipped out and I was just holding her to protect her from herself, that they might have to believe him. That's why she needs these recordings. He tells her without her recording Reese, she doesn't have a very good case, but the recordings will help her. But he has to look into the eavesdropping laws. While this guy has all the lingo, and it's true there is a cycle to DV, he hasn't heard our queen pin and boss bitch come out, as she is the meek, mild, head down and tilted mode for him at all times. He asks about guns, and she says no, that Reese doesn't have any guns and that she's a felon and can't have guns around. She goes into a long statement of how bad his addiction is and how his family can't get through to him, and she was persistent in his 9 years deep. His family is just like, when he's ready, he's ready. So I'm going to conclude. The interview has stopped, so I'm going to conclude my part 4 here. And we'll pick up after the interview on part 5. Thank you for joining me, and please come back for the next part. Thank you.